Hey guys, Dave here for Dave's Exotic Foods, and I have something very interesting that we're going to be cooking up today. This is the tail of a beaver. Beaver tail, or the flapper of a beaver. It's right here, sealed away. This was sent to me as a gift from Exotic Meat Market. I buy a lot of different types of wild game meats from there. It's a great place, run by a great owner, and he gave me a couple of beaver tails as gifts. Yeah, people can buy, of course, beaver meat on the website, but yes, even the tail, the flapper of the beaver is sold as well, and yeah, there is meat inside of the tail. I mean, of course, not so much, but we're gonna be doing a little cooking today, and we're gonna try and make something interesting here. And I have an idea. I went online and I looked at a couple things, and yeah, believe it or not, there are recipes on, there's more than one actually, of cooking up some beaver tail. So we're gonna be doing that. Let's get started. All right, this right here is a griddle. I placed it on top of the stovetop, and I'm going to be cooking my beaver tail on this for the first step. This is like part 1 of 2, basically, for cooking our beaver tail. Yeah, a grill works great. You can put your beaver tail on the grill. I will be using a griddle, and I'll be placing it on top of the stove. Now, you probably want to get a better picture of what the beaver tail looks like. And here it is right here. I took it out of the bag, and I placed it down here on a cutting board, just kind of displaying it. This is the tail right here. It's very interesting to the touch. Like, it has a very kind of interesting feel to it, I will say. But yeah, this is the beaver tail right here. Okay, the heat is on. Got the fan on as well, you probably can hear. And we're gonna place our beaver tail on our griddle right here. Here we go, let's do this. Okay, so basically we're going to give this a couple minutes for it to warm up, and the beaver tail will probably start to puff out, the skin at least, though there's going to be bubbles you might see, and every several minutes or so, a couple minutes, just flip the tail over. And basically, I mean, you want to make sure the beaver tail is properly defrosted. Takes about, 2 days. But as far as time goes, you just kind of want to just play it by looks, I suppose. You just want to make sure it's done. The outside will get kind of charred, but the outside isn't what we're after. We're after what's inside. So you just kind of want to make sure this thing bubbles and puffs out the skin. Sometimes holding it down with the tongs, I feel, can be a help. Okay, I'm gonna try and flip it over here. There we go. Yeah, it'll look a lot like this. It's kind of curving up, so you just want to flip it over every couple minutes. Okay, do you hear that crackling sound? Kind of like a tree sap in a fire or something. That's a good sound. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear the crackling of the beaver tail. That's when it starts to do its job. It's roasting up. You can kind of see a couple of bubbles right there. That's the kind of stuff you want. Oh, look at that. That is pretty awesome. Oh, damn. There you go. That's what you want. Okay, still cooking, still looking pretty nice. Some people might prefer to wrap it up in aluminum foil, especially if you're doing it inside a grill. But, I always like to watch the process, and it's pretty cool. Oh, man. It's bubbling. Look at that. That's crazy. All right, and that right there should do it. Let's get it off of the griddle, set it aside on a cutting board, and then you're going to want to let the beaver tail cool down for about several minutes. I actually have a fish fillet knife, and I'm just going to I'm going to start at the bottom of the tail here, and I'm going to kind of just try and make a hole. I mean, you're not filleting a fish, so it's not exactly the same, but I kind of just want to kind of get a foundation. I mean, you can really kind of just peel away the skin a little bit too, I don't know, I haven't had much experience in removing the skin off of a beaver tail, but we're gonna get this done here. holding the bottom of the tail works. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. If we can just open it up here. This is the meat inside underneath the skin. As you can see, there's a bone, tailbone, of course, right there. And it even kind of looks like a kind of fish, you know, the meat. It's really interesting, actually. And you know, the funny thing is, if you give it a little bit of touch, it kind of has this like very kind of gristle, fatty kind of texture, and the grease kind of gets on your fingers, which is really interesting. Okay, that right there is one side done, one side to go. It's kind of a messy process, at least I feel, and your hands kind of get a little greasy, but you know, the end result here, at least on this side, seems pretty nice to me. There we go. Alright, nice. Looking good. And here is our beaver tail right here. As you can see, I kind of salvaged the rest of the meat that was still attached to the tail. Just kind of, you know, cut it off, and I laid it right next to the tail here. So you're going to want to put your beaver tail in a, you know, like a saucepan or some kind of pan like this. Just kind of, you know, slightly season the beaver tail with a little pepper. And, you know, just a little salt. There you go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and I'm going to put it in the oven at about 250 degrees for 45 minutes to up to an hour just to kind of finish the beaver tail off. And then I'm going to take this out and I'm actually going to use the beaver tail here to kind of whip up an interesting kind of dinner dish. It's going to be pretty interesting and I can't wait to show you guys. All right, good stuff. Okay, our beaver tail has been removed from the oven. It's done. It looks nice. What I'm going to do is let it cool for a couple minutes, and then I am going to remove every piece of meat off the bone of the beaver tail as I can. Okay, time to get messy again. Here we go. So I'm just going to take a simple knife and, you know, just kind of cut the meat off the bone. It's not too difficult, you know? It's not too difficult at all. So you just want to remove as much as you can. There's a nice chunk. Good stuff. And I'm going to take this meat and I'm actually going to create a kind of an interesting little dish with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this not really as the hero of the dinner course, which I'm preparing. It's not going to be like the main ingredient, but it's gonna be there to help. What I'm going to be doing is a pizza flatbread, and I'm actually also going to use some Italian sausage. Yeah, I'm going to cut that up, and I'm going to kind of put it on a flatbread. You know, add some sauce, you know, some toppings like black olives and cheese, stuff like that. Yeah, and I'm going to be using this as one of my toppings. Some beaver tail meat. It's gonna be part of the flatbread pizza topping. Okay, the meat has been removed as much as possible. Whew, you'd be surprised how little meat you can get off the tail of a beaver, I suppose. Or maybe you wouldn't be surprised at all. Anyway, there you go. Okay, I have some Indian-style flatbread right here. So what I'm going to do is I already have some tomato sauce prepared. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour some of it on there and pour some of it on here. And then we're going to add our toppings to our flatbread pizzas. Okay, so once you have your sauce spread, I actually already prepared some Italian sausage. And it's cut up, so I'm just going to kind of sprinkle this on my flatbreads here. There you go. Okay, and now it's time to add our special ingredient, some beaver tail meat. So I'm just going to kind of place it here and there. And the next one, here we go. I'm going to sprinkle on a little black olives, diced up. I mean, really, you can put on just about anything if you want. There we go. Okay, and finally I'm going to add some cheese. I'm going to put it right on the top here. A little sharp cheddar. And for this one, I'm actually going to use some mozzarella. Kind of change things up here. And there you go, guys. We have ourselves some flatbread pizzas, accompanied by, you know, the typical stuff: sausage, sauce, cheese, and our special ingredient, we have some beaver tail meat. That's going to be interesting. So I think these look pretty cool. I'm going to put them in the oven again and just kind of melt the cheese and get the sauce hot, you know, get everything hot again for just about several minutes. Fresh out of the oven and looking fantastic. Let's dice these things up and try them. Can't wait. I'm real excited. Alright, piece of cake, right? And here we have our end product. You know, I just took a couple pieces of each flatbread, you know, with the sharp cheddar and the mozzarella. Plus, I wanted to save, you know, just kind of a piece of the beaver tail by itself. I'm just going to kind of pick this up here so you can see. And I just thought I would try that, you know, by itself to see how it is. Alright, ready? I'm going to try this first, this little piece. Here we go. This is beaver tail. Alright. Wow. It's so fatty and kind of gelatinous. And it's kind of like gristle. Not gristle, but like gristle. That is, oh, it's so greasy too. It's really weird. That's interesting. I mean, it doesn't taste bad or anything, but it's just like, wow, that's a lot of gristle type flavors coming at you, you know, real greasy type stuff, you know? Perfect for a pizza, maybe? Okay, so, you know, here we go. I took off 2 slices of my flatbread pizzas, and, you know what's on the sausage and the cheese and the black olives. So I think that that'll be nice. And of course I have my beaver meat as one of the toppings as well. Be nice to go to like Pizza Hut or Domino's and say, hey, I'd like to have some pepperoni and some beaver tail as toppings. Maybe. Mmm. That's really good. That is really good. I gotta, you know, I mean, sometimes you're not going to get a lot of the beaver tail in every bite. I mean, that's just good flatbread pizza by itself, you know what I mean? Mmm. Oh yeah, there we go. I had some beaver tail meat in that one, and it was pretty good. Mmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. It's just so greasy and man, it works well with the pizza. I will say that. Okay, this one I used sharp cheddar. I mean, there's not really much difference here. It's the same thing. It kind of looks more appealing to me for some reason. I don't know why. Mmm. Here, I'm going to have one more piece here. There's some beaver tail meat right here. Mmm. Man, messy. This stuff is messy. Oh, that's messy to eat, but not as messy as it was to get the meat off the tail. Oh, that was a real greasy experience. Anyway, you know, this tastes great. I got the recipe. I'll put it in the video description. You can check that out. You know, beaver tail meat can be bought from Exotic Meat Market. Like I said, Anshu Patak, the owner, sent a couple beaver tails to me as a gift, along with my original order, and it was fantastic. I don't know if I ever really would have ordered the beaver tail. You know, I don't know, because there's just so many products to begin with. But I will say I'm very happy. Some beaver tail meat. I'm very happy with the product, and you know, doing the flatbread pizza idea, that was kind of fun, you know. I'll put a recipe, and you can do the same thing. Just check the video description below. Also in the video description below is the link to Exotic Meat Market. Go over there, check it out. As well, I will also list their Facebook page, so you can go over there. And it's really important to go over there because Anshu always lists like a lot of Facebook deals, you know, 20% off, that kind of thing. So head on over there, check it out. Check out the website. This was really good. I'm very much into it. You know, like I said, the beaver tail meat isn't like the hero of the dish you're making. It kind of, you know, it would complement something else. You know, the sausage, of course, is really nice, of course. Who doesn't like sausage? But the beaver tail meat goes really well. And it kind of, like, it just adds this whole, like, you know, new little kind of kick to this, like, flatbread pizza kind of thing. I like it. Good stuff. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and now you know how to cook beaver tail and enjoy some beaver tail meat. Good stuff. I'm Dave for Dave's Exotic Foods, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. I'm going to finish my dinner now. Just in time. It is dinner time. Mmm.